Hey everybody out there in YouTube land, and welcome back to another Dark Avengers comic book review. Now longer than 15 minutes, one episode long, no parts, is going straight through. Only good thing YouTube has done in the past 3 years that I've been on here. You guys know me, I'm Chris, and my panel and training Joe, Kevin, hello. Amber, and you guys know my cameraman has been here since episode 1, Mike. And nobody has anything to review today except for Amber from my panel, and I have a whole huge stack of comics to review. And the comics I will be reviewing for this week were released on December 14th, 2010. We're winding down December, getting ready for 2011. Very excited for 2011. First off, one comic I did grab because I'm a very huge fan of the video game. I noticed it on Midtown. They were advertising. It's a one-shot. I paid like $1 for it. Dead Space Extraction. It's all about Isaac's girlfriend, Nicole. The artwork is terrible. I'm glad I bought it now, because if I would have ended up paying $3.50 for this, I would have been really pissed off. It was not good at all. It's, yeah. All the Dead Space comics kind of have really weird artwork.
One question, why would they be announcing a game for the Wii that's been out for like over
No,
a year?
this is old.
Yeah,
it's an old comic.
Yeah, I was going to say it has to be old, Extraction.
I just said I paid $1 for it.
Okay.
So.
Yeah, I was like, yeah.
Now, into this week's comics, I thought that would be interesting to just mention, so I'm not even going to...
But not worth getting at all.
I'm not worth getting at all. Now, getting into this week's comic, first off, Darkwing Duck number 7. Cover B is the 70s layout. I like Darkwing. It's the only Boom comic I get. Yes, I will not be getting...
Chip and Dale.
Chip and Dale, no. So, moving into actually, I love Darkwing. Definitely suggested for anybody who's a fan of the old cartoons from the weekend. So, moving into the mainstream to Marvel Comics, Uncanny X-Force number 3. I'm getting so bored. They're fighting the Four Horsemen, and they get past the Four Horsemen in the end, and something bad's happening to Archangel, and Deadpool's stupid as always. And that's it.
From the Revelation?
No, well, it's Apocalypse's Four Horsemen. I think the advertisement's in this book, though, and if it is, that is what I would like to talk about. If it's in this book, please be in this book, because if you're not, I'm going to be really upset. But it'll be in another Marvel book. I'm sure everybody will be happy about seeing this. No, I don't think it's in this book. Although I'm surprised it isn't. The one thing I did find... Oh, the advertisement for Fear in April is actually in this book. So, Fear is coming. So, that's one little advertisement. I guess the other advertisement's in another book, because I know I saw it somewhere. Oh well. But Uncanny X-Force is really boring the hell out of me. I'm sorry. Maybe it's just because it's a crappy first story arc. It's just not holding me. I'll wait for the next story arc to start. I'll go by the first part of the next story arc, but this is just really... I don't know. I'm just not... Yeah, it's blah. That's a perfect word for it, blah. Next, another one that I'm only being held on by literally a string. Wolverine number 4. Wolverine, sum it up. See, I can sum these both up. Wolverine beats the shit out of the devil, while his demonic side is being fought by the X-Men on Earth. He really the demonic Wolverine really messes up a lot of the X-Men. And he goes off, and Scott Summers shows up and says, I think I'm going to have to take care of this. And that's going to lead into the next story arc, I'm guessing. And, yeah, so basically Wolverine beats the devil, and he comes face to face with his father, to be concluded. I'll wait for the next story arc before I can really make a judgment, but...
They're really milking this Wolverine and Hell thing, it seems like, with the devil and all that.
Yeah, but I'm being honest, my interest in X-Force is less than Wolverine. I'm probably going to drop X-Force first. If anything, I'm getting a feeling. Now, one of the 2 What If comics I am getting this month, the next one coming out next week, with the return of another series that that has an actual interesting story that's going on. Drop 3 books, take 2 back. Anyway, Amazing Spider-Man. What if Spider-Man killed Kraven? So this is all about if Spider-Man killed Kraven. Basically, he kills Kraven, he goes nuts, he kills a bunch of other bad guys, and in the end, he ends up blind. And,
how does that work?
And Spider-Girl ends up Spider-Girl. Don't ask. So basically, in this, his web is broken, and the whole point was to make the web stronger. He denied, he didn't listen, and he killed Kraven. He becomes Kraven for a while. He becomes a hunter instead of being Spider-Man. And then in the end, he's nobody. He's a nobody. He's blind. He's not Spider-Man anymore. Spider-Woman is basically the new Web. And the world all just keeps going. And I'm not even going to get into this whole what if Venom and possessed Deadpool. Because once again, the secondary stories are never interesting. It's always the first stories that are the most interesting. And on a high note, ending on a high note with Marvel, Amazing Spider-Man 650 introduces the new costume of Spider-Man. And this cover is very misleading. And I'll show you guys why in the book in a second. Basically, Spider-Man gets messed up by Hobgoblin. He gets messed up bad. And Hobgoblin gets away with the reverse vibranium that they were working on at Horizon Lab. Now, basically, he gives it to Kingpin. Kingpin knows that it's not the Hobgoblin that he originally hired. But because Hobgoblin did the job, he's like, I didn't like the old Hobgoblin anyway, so you get to be, you can work for me. And then Pete's getting changed at Horizon Labs, and of course, so's not to get caught. He does this. I thought it was hilarious. That was funny. That was good comedy. He likes to do work in the buff. Don't ask. It's a long story.
Yeah, but I'm not
So,
costume.
Pete decides he's going to go and steal back the vibranium from whoever stole it, because he didn't know it was Kingpin at the time. So he calls Black Cat with another very interesting picture on his page. That's Black Cat. So and anyway, she finds out it's Kingpin. Exactly. She finds out it's Kingpin. Pete says, "Okay, I'll meet you near his place." There's a secondary story. Oh, here it is. Good. And basically, his new costume is introduced. He's invisible and he can't be heard.
She's leaning over.
So anyway,
wait, what?
It's green. She's leaning over. So what? And it's green. And in the next cover, it's green too. I don't know. Maybe they were going to go with red and they changed their minds or whatever. And it's to be continued. They're going after Wilson. They're going to get the vibranium back. And Spidey has a new costume. Is it permanent? I hope not.
Yeah, really.
They used red and green. They used
kind of like an
Christmas
alien
colors.
looking.
Yes, I'm hoping. So they can't see him and they can't hear him. Basically, that's his new type of costume. And this is the advertisement I'm happy about. Deadpool is losing a book. And I love how they're saying, we're going to ask the fans. The advertisement says, yeah, I know 4 monthly books is a bit much, but I can't choose which book to cancel. My vote is for Deadpool team-ups, because that doesn't belong to anybody except Spider-Man. And I say get rid of the core one, too. Both of these comics, get rid of both.
What the fuck is she doing?
Don't worry what she's doing. Why are you focusing on Black Cat so much? But, so, pizza, and then there's a
There's a lot of Black Cat in that one.
Yes, there is. There's a secondary story with the Spider Slayer, but once again, you're really not the most interesting of all the stories. Yes, you may. So, this story has promised. There was an advertisement for the new Spidey armor that's going to be coming out in another 4 or 5 issues. And it looks interesting. And the whole fear thing is being promoted at Marvel. That looks interesting. And they're still going to kill the Ultimate Spider-Man, which nobody really cares about anymore because the Ultimate Universe has gone to shit. And now I believe in the Ultimate Universe, Reed Richards is a bad guy. Okay. This is why I'm glad they're killing him Ultimate Spider-Man, because then I'm done with the Ultimate Universe completely. Anyway, we're done with Marvel, but before we get into DC, we're going to get into the one book that came out 2 weeks ago that I didn't have a chance to get from Amber that she wanted to review since the announcement of its #1. Go ahead, Amber.
I did not.
You were interested.
Vampirella, Dynamite, #1.
She didn't want to review it, but she likes it, so I wouldn't.
Yeah, it's good. I have to say that. It's good. The artwork's nice, except the second short story in here.
That's Tim Dale's art. I never liked Tim Dale's art.
Yeah, there's a second shorter story in here, but
Just say who it's by, please. Please say who it's by. It's right on the cover right here.
Jeff Loeb and Tim Sale.
Right. Because they did Superman for all seasons. I just wanted to mention that.
But all in all, what happens in this is Vampirella kicks some kid's ass because they were beating up a homeless guy, and then they find out that the police officers are bad vampires. And I find out that Vampirella kills vampires, even though she is one.
She's like Buffy.
Yeah. Only...
Oh, no, she's not. She's like...
she's a vampire who
like,
goes to the other vampires.
Yeah, there was a vampire. Blade. She's like Blade. Sorry, not Buffy. Blade.
so how do you put this? Then she goes into a sanctum that's in a club where she sees a woman killing a young boy who's about 17. She kills her. And then she gets, well, I'll show you the picture. She gets majorly swarmed. She's like, I should have known there wasn't just one guard. And then...
Them dirty vampires.
Where is it? Le Femme.
Tush, that was French.
She's quite pretty, but her hand is disturbing. Right here. She takes the glove off and that's exposed.
So I bet you can't wait for part 2 or number 2.
Part 2.
Number 2.
I'll read it. Number 2, I'll read it, but to be honest, I'm not sure if I'm gonna like it. I'd say pick it up if you're a vampire fan, but to be honest, it's not my cup of tea.
Yeah.
So then you don't want to get it.
I do want to read it, but the shorter stories about her telling a guy that she wants him to write her story, and how she does it is she's a seductress.
So it's a mock story.
Where was the best picture to show you? Right here. Like, I want you.
It's a mock story.
Yeah, it's good. I can't knock it because it's good, but
She has a really.
let's see where it goes.
She has a really big dirty side to her for that.
She used to be more of a dirty
she
comic. This
she
is
used
more
to be a
along the
slut.
lines of. This
Her
is more
old
along the
comic
lines-
was slutty.
Okay.
This is
I was gonna
This is
say-
better.
I didn't want to say the word. You said it.
No. Just stick it right
So
here. Okay.
check it out, but I'm gonna see how the series goes.
Okay, moving out of that and into DC, going from
If it doesn't go well, will you get me Chippendale?
No. Moving into Time Masters Vanishing Point, part 5 of 6. Notice how much the search for Batman has shrunk on the cover. It is no longer the search for Batman. I like how actually in the comic book they decide that it's they're not going to look for Batman anymore because they're busy with some other problems. I can't remember the name. One of the names pronouncing it is going to be ridiculously hard, so I'm going to attempt to again. But it's not going to go well at all. So the Sorcerer and some other name. I'm not even going to bother. I like this. This artwork is homage to the Smallville scene. I'm not showing you the name. No, because I can't find it anyway right now. So anyway, somewhere else, Black Beetle is looking for something, and it turns out to be somebody I haven't seen in comic books since the 90s. Wave Rider's corpse to get Wave Rider's powers.
Wow.
I thought that was awesome. I haven't seen Wave Rider in like forever. So now they go after the Sorcerer and whatever the other Sarahatu. And they prevent them from taking the atomic bomb, and yeah, they get stung. And then, of course, in the cover you see Professor Reverse Flash, but of course he doesn't show up until the very last page. So he's going to be in the final part. So they're not looking for... Nah, screw Batwoman. Not literally. But basically, the whole search for Bruce Wayne's over, because we all know where Batman is now. This comic is severely late. Severely late. Batman's already back in his own comic books doing Batman Inc. for 2 months already, and they're still looking for him in the Time Masters Vanishing Point. That's why they shrunk the search for Batman all the way down here, because it's not the search for Batman anymore. So the next issue they're going to be dealing with the Reverse Flash. Only reason I'm getting this once again, Dan Jurgens. I love Dan Jurgens' artwork on Superman.
You gotta let me read the next comic.
Why? Oh, man. Supergirl 59. Enter the Dollmaker. Dollmaker knows what Toyman did to Kat's son, and he wants to be her new son. And of course she thinks he's completely out of his mind, and that doesn't happen. So in the end, Supergirl ends up saving her, and Kat makes this whole article at the very end where she says the night I needed, or the day I needed Supergirl. It's a good comic. It was alright. I love Supergirl. I just don't particularly like the artwork on the cover. The internal artwork is nothing compared to the cover. The internal artwork is a lot better. I love this splash page. This is a very nice splash page. Very nice splash page
Very
of all the
Ooh.
things. And it's taking place on Christmas. So Supergirl saves the kids. And I like the end where they're at Ma Kent's house and it's Christmas. It's Christmas at Ma Kent's house and you got Clark and everybody else showing up. And yeah, the day I needed Supergirl. The end. I thought it was great.
I want to read it.
Well,
Thank you.
okay, now getting
That's
to
what
Brightest
I'm
Day, number 16. Aquaman vs. Aqualad. That is such a misleading cover. I swear to God, it's misleading completely. Basically, Jackson, who is the son of Black Manta, he's the key to keeping all the Atlanteans locked up in the Bermuda Triangle. So Aquaman needs him to help him keep those people locked in the Bermuda Triangle. So in the end, basically, Jackson gets his, well, you see it on the cover, but he actually, in the comic book, gets the Aqualad costume. So he, apparently, becomes the new Aqualad. He becomes the new Aqualad. And then the second story that's going on in this comic book is about Black Lantern Firestorm, who still has Jason's father and the professor trapped inside of him. And Firestorm trying to figure out what he can do to himself. And in the end, Firestorm explodes, and it's the end of time as far as we know. Oh wait, sorry, wrong page. It's the end of basically they leave you up where you think that Firestorm destroyed everything, and in the next issue it says the death of ... So we don't know what the death is. Brightest Day is winding down. I'm being honest with you. Thank God it's only 25 or 24 issues because it's almost done. It's an okay series. It definitely goes all over the place and back again. It has no solid story. Each comic has its own little story that's going on, but it's pretty good. It's doing good, but nothing's ever going to top Blackest Night. Now I'm positive about it. Nothing's going to top Blackest Night. Green Lantern Emerald Warriors number 5. Once again, misleading cover.
Yeah.
Guy Gardner does spew blood, but he does not turn into a Red Lantern like they're making it look here. Basically, he still has the red stuff in him. Oh, from the conclusion of last issue, they're being surrounded by rookies from the Lantern Corps. What they find out is they are being mentally controlled. So they have to stop them. But in the end, the guy that was controlling them has them kill themselves, so they can't say who was controlling them. And Kilowog has a huge 2-page thing where he's blaming himself for their deaths. And you get to see his more emotional side, because usually you just see him as a kick-ass, he's one of those lanterns that'll come in ring blazing, and he's an awesome character. And this just develops his character more. So then finally, Atrocitus shows up. Well, not shows up. Basically, this is where I guess the cover is supposed to take place. Guy Gardner spews some red blood, which is fueled by his Red Lantern. And Atrocitus shows up and says, "Don't forget, I knew I shouldn't have trusted you and Gantha. Now you guys have to stay true to your part of the bargain." And he's like, "Oh, I'll explain." And then he explains that basically he's been having nightmares. And then one day while he was finishing the bar, he spews this on the entire wall. And basically this is going to be, what is this, it shows the future. It's showing the future, basically. It has all the entities on it. It shows a Green Lantern's hand being cut off. I'm guessing that's going to be, my guess is Sodom Yat. That's my guess. It's going to be Sodom Yat's hand that's chopped off. It shows things that are going on in Green Lantern. It shows things that I think it's going to be showing, because especially this part right here, it looks like this is going to be the War of the Green Lanterns going on. So I'm guessing that's what it's showing. It's showing the future for Green Lantern. So this is like the comic that's showing the future. And see, this is what I noticed. He's going to be fighting Hal Jordan at some point, which I honestly can't wait to see, because who knows who's going to be good, who knows who's going to be bad in this situation. Overall, I'm being honest, this first story arc is taking a while to take off, but I'm enjoying it enough to say I'm definitely sticking around. It's a really good comic. The artwork is really good. It's got a lot of foreshadowing for the future in 2011, stuff that's going to be coming in 2011. Moving into another comic book, Green Lantern number 60. Barry Allen is possessed by Parallax. No. And basically Hal Jordan has to fight him. And the Blue Lantern and everybody else join in to help. And in the end, basically, Hal Jordan is trying to coax Parallax out of Barry Allen. But it doesn't work because the the person I thought was a Guardian, turns out he sort of was, but sort of wasn't. But before we get into that, because that's the end of the comic, I want to show that one page. There is one page that's linking Green Lantern to the Green Lantern Corps, and that's this page, where Sinestro is contacted by somebody from the Sinestro Corps, and he basically says that the Weaponer, this is from Green Lantern Corps, is demanding that demanding Sinestro's presence on his planet, or he's going to kill his daughter. And Sinestro's like, well, what about the Kyle Rayner and his group of people? And he's like, well, the Weaponer is still demanding your presence, or he'll kill her. And basically Sinestro flies off. I guess this part is to be continued in Green Lantern Corps. I knew it. I said it when I was reviewing the Green Lantern Corps, the last part. Sinestro is going to show up. Green Lantern Corps, by the way, next week, guys. So we'll find out where Sinestro is going next week. Looking forward to seeing that.
These stories have deep stories, I have to say.
Yeah, I'm telling you the truth. All the Lantern books are connected, guys. You may not like certain Lantern books, but if you're a Green Lantern fan, you know you're getting all 3 books, because you need all 3 books.
They're cool, though.
You'll never get that one page. You'll never get that one page in Green Lantern Corps. Or maybe you will. Who knows? We'll see next week in Green Lantern Corps. Hey, basically in the end... Oh, I put it back. Darn it. It turns out in the very end he reveals himself, and this is for people like me who know old comic books way back when. He steals all the entities, by the way. He pulls them out of Barry, and he pulls out the entity that possessed the woman, the Blue Lantern entity, and he pulls out the Indigo tribe. And it turns out he's Krona. For those of you who don't know who Krona is, get out your DC Comics encyclopedia and look up Krona. That's who the guy is, and he's mad. So, for those of you who don't know who Krona is, I won't spoil it for you. Go in your DC Comics encyclopedias, look up Krona. You saw the name. You can pause the video. Rewind it and pause the video. It's Krona who's doing all this. Finally, Superman 706. I loved this comic book this week. Even though, sadly, it has nothing really to do with Superman. It has to do with the Daily Planet. See, this Grounded series has nothing to do with Superman.
Yeah, I know.
It's a part with Superman, then a part with something else, then a part with Superman, then a part with something else. We're in Metropolis this week. This issue, this month. And basically Perry White is being, the Daily Planet is being targeted by a blogger on TV, on the internet. A guy who makes a blog, basically he scoops the news. So basically he says the Faley Planet City's top paper in bed with Superman, because he thinks that at the time, what's the guy named? Jack? I think it's Jack, I want to make sure. Jack Hoffman, who is the Urbanites, he does a blog, says that the Daily Planet is paying Superman for exclusive interviews because he always sees Lois Lane with Superman. So basically Perry calls Lois and says, is this true? You know, are you and Superman doing anything? And she's like, Perry, no, you should know this by now. And she's like, oh boy. And he's dealing with this young kid who takes crappy photos. So he basically fires the kid, and then he decides, wait, come back, and he decides to have the kid join Jack Hoffman's blogger group, claiming that he was fired from the Daily Planet. So he's basically a mole. So Perry's talking to Lois saying, are you sure nothing's going on? And then Superman, in his own book, how about that, does a guest appearance talking to Perry saying, you know, if you need any help, I can help you. I'm worried about you guys. He's like, don't worry about us, just worry about your appearance. And he goes off, and that's the last time you're going to see Superman in this entire issue. So basically Jack Hoffman meets with Perry White, and he's like, okay, you want to scoop me? Give me proof. So Jack Hoffman ends up showing him a picture of Lois and Superman kissing, and then his mole comes in and says, no, that was from a flyer. See, this is the doctor's photo, and here's the flyer. So in the end, he's like, wait, I didn't know that was doctored. And then he talks about money. What about the money? Perry's like, that's my money. I put money into the Daily Planet, and then when we don't need it, I take it out. He's like, oh. He's like, please don't sue me. And then in the end, Perry's like, I'm not going to sue you. I'm offering you a summer intern job. He's like, a job? He's like, yeah, I'm going to help. I think you have a lot of guts. So in the end, he ends up giving Jack Hoffman an internship, and the other guy who takes crappy photos, I guess he gives him his job back. That kind of is left up in the air, but I'm guessing he gets his job back too. And that's the end of the comic. I thought it was good. It's very grounded. Ha ha. Very grounded. Ha. Very grounded. I like the issue because, first of all, you don't see Perry White too often anymore, and you don't hear what's going on in the Daily Planet. But he did make one reference. He's like, I'm missing Clark Kent. You know what, Perry? So am I. I'm missing Clark Kent. I'm missing Superman back in Metropolis where he belongs, doing what he does best. But you know what? Maybe after Grounded, we'll get another writer who will actually do something else. Because, as you guys can see, Michael Straczynski, J. Michael Straczynski, is no longer writing Grounded because he's too busy doing Earth 1 Superman Volume 2. So, I can't wait for Grounded to be over. Maybe Superman will come back to his books and, just be Superman
How long
again.
has it been gone already? It's been a while.
He's not gone.
Not
He's
gone,
still
but
out.
I'm talking about the
He's
size
still
of
walking
comics.
around the world. He's going
Yeah.
to be doing this for about another 4 or 5 months.
Oh, okay.
Give or take a
Wow.
month.
Cameras.
I cannot wait till he's back in his comic.
So there'll be side stories like that in the meantime.
Chris,
Amber, I need the book.
give me a second.
I can't believe this. Okay, let's go through these while Amber's doing that.
Are these the Green Lanterns?
No. Superman 706. Definitely pick it up. It was awesome. Thank you. Supergirl 59. Really good. Check it out. Like Amber's doing right now. Green Lantern 60. Really good. Check it out. Along with Green Lantern Emerald Warriors number 5. Brightest Day 16. It's got its moments of good and bad. Time Masters Vanishing Point. They're so late on this. I don't even care. It's just, I'm only buying it because of Dan Jurgens. Amber, Vampirella number 1.
Pick it up.
Amber says pick it up. Amazing Spider-Man 650. I'm liking Amazing Spider-Man right now, honestly. I'm just hoping that this new costume isn't permanent. What if Amazing Spider-Man killed Kraven? Wolverine 4. X-Force it's on its way out of my reviews at least. And Darkwing Duck number 7. Everybody loves Darkwing. I'm not even bothering to mention about the Dead Space Extraction one shot. It's not even worth it to mention.
You want to throw it in the trash can?
I'm not gonna throw it in the trash can, but I'm not gonna put it anywhere either. All right, guys. So that concludes this week. We have 2 weeks left in December. Hopefully, comics will be delivered on time. But as you guys know, next Saturday is Christmas. So 2 to 1, I won't be getting my comics till sometime in the middle of next week. So I apologize. Also, last week's review is going to be posted around the same time this week because we were having trouble over here with our DSL box. Now we got the old box back. Uploading shouldn't be a problem anymore. I'll have both this episode and last episode up by now. And yeah, so I'll be back on track hopefully. In another 2 weeks, I'll be doing a year in review with the comics and everything else. So stick around, guys. Hope you have a great week. If I don't see you guys before Christmas, I hope you guys have a very Merry Christmas. And take care. I'll see you guys soon. Later, everybody.